Goal is buying back your life. It's buying back time, which is your life.
Not being stressed out.
High
completely.
cortisol levels affect your sleep, affect your health, affect your kidney function, affect everything.
Affect your relationships, your communication.
100%.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be when you're either watching this or listening to this or doing both. If this is your first time here, you have just found the best damn podcast you've ever seen or ever heard before in your life. We are known as Old Guys Still Rock, or OGSR. Today we're going to be in episode number 153 episodes. And we will get to it, how this came to fruition. But first and foremost, I am Blair Armstrong of Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker. I am a global luxury specialist in the world of residential real estate here in the beautiful Coachella Valley. The Coachella Valley, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, La Quinta, Indio. Maybe you've gone to the Coachella Music Festival. Maybe you've heard of Stagecoach. Maybe you've gone, I don't know. Maybe you just come out to Palm Springs for spring break when you're a kid. Whatever it may be. That's the Coachella Valley, starting all the way from the west end of Palm Springs all the way to the east end of Coachella. So you still don't know where that is and you're in some other part of the world, find a map, look up Palm Springs, California, and go east all the way to Indio, and that's the Coachella Valley. But enough of me right now. On the other part of this show, the other co-host of the show is a good friend of mine of almost 30 years now, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated. He's located in beautiful Eugene, Oregon. They're actually just coming into the sweet spot of their season. Probably some more.
Till this morning.
Till this morning. I knew it was coming. But anyway, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated. He, a man with many different hats, from multiple property owner to detail shops to body shops, financiers to a state-of-the-art wellness center located in Eugene, Oregon. If you're in that Eugene, Springfield area and you are looking for a better way to find a healthy lifestyle, look up Wright Wellness Center. Go check them out, see everything that they have to offer. I think you'll be amazed by the technology and how it can improve your life naturally. He is also a part of a venture capitalist group that bought a company about a year ago, bustedtees.com. So if you love novelty t-shirts, you probably know about this if you do. But if you haven't heard of them yet, look up Busted, B-U-S-T-E-D, tees.com. Check them out. Look at all the cool things you can buy and look at all the cool things you can make. But most of all, from Brent Wright, the cool thing is it's really why we are 153 episodes into this podcast. He is an amazing business coach and personal coach. So, I say this at the beginning of every episode. If you're kind of getting stuck in a loop, either with business or personal stuff, and things are just not clicking, to check him out. Because I said we're in episode 153 today. Go back and watch 152 episodes. See how he could be a fit for your life. And if you don't like him, call me. That's how I always say that too. So anyway, kind of a short but sweet introduction. What's up, my dude? How are you? I'm excited about today because we're talking about time. But before we get into that, how are you doing? What's going on in the 541 area code of Eugene, Oregon?
Yeah, so we're rocking and rolling as always. We had the first bull calf born on Monday at noon for the season. So that starts off with another 7 or 8 cows. Hopefully we'll be dropping calves in the next few weeks. So pretty excited about that. That's kind of like money on the hoof.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, how cool is that experience though, bro?
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, especially for my kids, my staff. Everybody gets intertwined with that. It's new life is amazing in the beginning, just right out of the gate, new life is awesome. But to see it consistently and putting the pieces together on how it fits to your food, how it fits to your health, how it fits in all areas is pretty cool. Yeah. So, yep. And then the wellness center, we are looking at expanding to another 9,600 square foot space. So if things God's blessed us with the opportunity to look at it, if God blesses us with the opportunity to move forward, then we will be at about 15, almost 16,000 square feet, hopefully by the end of this year.
Are you in the same building or a different location?
Same location, different section of the building, and we're going to keep the existing section.
Wow.
And we're adding a massive amount of services. We have a meeting with a new technology called BTL. They have same thing that Kate and Edna have at Inlight, ExoMind, Amcella, a bunch of other different technologies. We had our first meeting last week. We had a little impromptu meeting this week, and next week we're having a dinner meeting. So
dinner meetings are fun.
Yeah.
Cool things happen at dinner meetings.
Right. Yeah. We'll see how this plays out. So, and then I'm working to try to acquire the space. One of my tenants is leaving, and so we're seeing how that will play out from a finance standpoint. But yeah, tons of growth. We're getting into season for Busted Tees. We had our first major sale of the year. May the 4th be with you. So yes. We did Star Wars themed stuff.
Saw that stuff. That was funny, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty rewarding, and we're kind of riding on the coattails of that, and then we'll get into 4th of July, and then on and on and on through Thanksgiving, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, Christmas, all those things again. So it just seems like when you're on a schedule, in regards to our subject today, when you're on a schedule and you're looking forward 6, 8, 12, 18 months, it seems like time just flies, right? So
somebody asked me a question about this regarding time, and I want to get into that. We have a good friend of mine, Ken and yours, Ken McCumber, who's been on the show twice, came in and he is going through this program. And he brought it up, and maybe that's the thing. I didn't 12 where he got the questions from, but he's picking out 12 people. I think it's called the 12 Disciples. Yep. Anyway, so we sat down and had a question, and he asked me what my 5-year plan was. And I gave back an answer, and it's not that I go, I just have today. And that's where my mindset is. I used to, I still have goals and aspirations to do stuff, a year from now, 5 months from now, a month from now, whatever it is. But I'm really just concentrating on today. And since we're talking about time today and being on schedules, do you have that same mindset of, I know this is not the subject of what we're going into, but do you still have that mindset I just have today? Or are you really still continue to, I can plan, but I understand it could switch in a second.
Yeah. So being a person of faith and reading the Bible and studying and things like that, it changes your perspective, because the Bible clearly states to us, don't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow has its own problems, right? So although I do plan for the future, I don't worry about the pitfalls that are going to happen.
Okay.
I just take the pitfalls as they come. I don't worry about or stress out about those pitfalls anymore. That is the big shift. And I think that's where you're talking about, that you don't worry about tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow will take care of itself. Will have its own problems. But dealing with the now, super important. Being present. We've talked about that in past episodes. But it does tie in with our theme. And our theme today, guys, is we all have the same 24 hours.
Yeah. And
so focus on today, and then let tomorrow's problems be tomorrow's problems.
Which I still think, you can worry about what's going to happen tomorrow and do that stuff. That's just in our nature. We tend to worry, and to train our mind not to worry about it. It's like, I just have to take this moment. And, I have this little, in our notes for today, I have this little saying here, and I want you to expand on this. It said, a billionaire and a broke man both woke up with 24 hours. Same clock, same sun, same midnight. So why do the outcomes always look so different? And then in that it says, maybe the biggest difference in life isn't talent, but maybe it's what people repeatedly do with ordinary time. And I think that's what you and over everything that we've talked about over 152 episodes, is what are we continuing to do to raise our standards, to make a difference, and so forth? Are we sitting back? Are we constantly using the time that we have, the 24 hours you said, worrying about today, concentrating on today? Like, okay, did good today. or maybe we failed today, but how do we get better tomorrow? So what are you doing typically with your 24 hours? What are you doing as a business coach and a personal coach to kind of get that point across?
Yeah, so I'll go into that in a second. But the difference between where people end up in life often comes down to four simple things: how they think, what they prioritize, what they tolerate. That's a big one, right? And what they repeatedly do with those hours. So back to tolerating, it's really goes deeper about what you're tolerating. So are you putting people around you that are not in a hurry? Are you putting people around you who live in that? I've got a bunch of Spanish friends, coworkers, things like that, and it's always about mañana, right? Right? They'll deal with it tomorrow. It's not a today problem, it's a tomorrow problem. How many times can you push off tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow before it becomes an issue? And remember, guys, this is not about shaming poor people. It's not about shaming wealthy people or glorifying wealth. It's about ownership, discipline, stewardship, habits, mindset, and intentional living. We really push intentional living on this podcast, and also evaluating what it is that you're doing. So I always say in my coaching, inspect what you expect. So what did yesterday do for you? How did it move the needle? How did it not move the needle? And what can you modify, change, or adjust to help move the needle? We use the power list. We use the mirror exercise. We use all these tools. But are you actually using them, or are you just regurgitating them, or are you just studying them? We talked about it in a past episode about one of my coaching clients that I had to terminate with, who wanted to be coached, but he didn't want to provide any action. Right? So that's where the rubber meets the road, is action.
Yeah. And so here's the thing too. I want to stay with that. I also want to go back to discipline and actually intention too. There's two things that you use as bullet points that I want to talk about. Intention. Let's start with that one. You and I are going to try to pack everything possible into 124 hours. Mm-hmm. Everything. Like, okay, I have a 30-minute gap here. How am I going to plug into something to do there? And then, or, whatever. I'll use this example. We have playoff tickets for the Firebirds out here, Coachella Valley Firebirds. You can't see that on my shirt. But anyway, that being said, they're the farm team for the Seattle Kraken, which is an NHL team. The game was at 7, and Chrissy goes, "Hey, we were supposed to have dinner with these people." And I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to dinner for an hour. And because it takes 15 to 20 minutes to get a server and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden I'm like, we got to bail. I'm out. So anyway, the dinner was supposed to be at 6. The people were nice enough to move it to 5. And she goes, okay, well, they moved it for 5 for us. And I said, we still have to leave like in an hour and a half. So you bought us basically 30 more minutes. She's like, it's really important. Really. I'm like, okay, I'll plug it in. And I just go, but there's going to be a hard stop at 6:30 because we have to, get the bill, blah, 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 get in the car, drive 20 minutes to get there. And kind of is being I guess you could say, is being at the beginning of the game that important? To me, it is. I like to hear the national anthem. I like to stand there and be around people. I like just kind of get in that moment. And I don't want to feel rushed walking into that. Like, we got to get here. That's just my thing. But the point I'm trying to make is that I don't, even though we had a great dinner, we had some great conversation, I didn't feel like it was fully intentional because my brain was, I've got to be someplace else. And I kept, looking at the guy's watch kept coming on. I'm like, okay, it's 5:45. Okay. We haven't had dinner yet. Okay. It's 5:55. Okay. Dinner comes at 6:15 and I'm rushing and I'm not really listening to people. The point I'm trying to make is trying to cram too much stuff in there probably could take away the intention of what you're really at that dinner for or that meeting for or whatever. So give yourself enough space to not feel rushed and be present, which we've talked about a lot at that time. But I feel like a lot of us just try to jam everything possible into one day, and how efficient, how intentional, how present are we being when we do that? I don't know if you do that or you have a better time management system than I do. So I don't know how you overcome that stuff.
So let me go on the other side and balance this out. So, yes, you are correct. Being intentional is important. Maybe you weren't as intentional in that interaction as you could have been or wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
What I heard you say is, I need more comfort.
True.
That's what I heard. It wasn't that you were focusing on being intentional. I heard, I'm uncomfortable. And so therefore, puts me out of my comfort zone, and I don't feel I can be intentional because I'm uncomfortable.
That's a fair statement.
Right. And so that is kind of the difference about what we're talking about today, is seeking comfort over being uncomfortable, because the opportunity to grow when you're comfortable is like a net zero. And when you're uncomfortable, the opportunity to grow is 100% ROI if you take what you learn and apply it. So what I see people doing is, and we're going to focus on a little bit of poor versus wealthy in this time management system, because there is an impasse about what poor thinking and wealthy thinking. And I'm not talking about money, guys. I'm talking about the difference between being comfortable and being uncomfortable. Wealthy time management is okay with uncomfortable situations, because every time, remember, our ROI is 100%.
Right.
Poor time thinking is, I need to be comfortable. So let's go back to some of the things you've talked about before. What are you doing from 6 to 10 p.m. every night?
Nothing. I'm checked out because someone brought this up. I always say that I'm an introvert. There's a different word for it because I'm kind of right in the middle of an extrovert and an introvert. But I'm mentally exhausted by about 4 o'clock because of conversations and figuring out problems and stuff. So usually at 6 o'clock, I am kind of checked out.
So in that time period, you're consuming, not building, right?
Correct.
And are you learning or are you scrolling?
Both.
Are you investing or escaping?
Both.
But which one weighs heavier? The escape?
Escape.
Yeah. And then same thing with learning and scrolling. The scrolling's probably higher than the learning. You're probably learning a little bit, but it's probably in passing because you're scrolling.
Right.
So going into that, not judging you, but just evaluating this, average mindset is endless scrolling, binge watching, gossip, distraction, reaction. Growth mindset, reading, studying, learning skills, applying those skills, networking, which you do a lot of networking, creating, and thinking long-term. Back to what McCumber said. What's your long-term plan? Right? So we're focused on today because we're going to be intentional about today, but we're always thinking long-term, longer plays. Goes back to kind of manifesting. Although manifesting isn't biblical, we saw in all of Jesus's teaching, he was talking about the future. In the 3 years he was teaching, he was talking about the future.
Keep going.
I was going to say, so poor people or poor time management people aren't poor because they lack value as humans. They've often inherited poor habits, poor models, poor financial education, environments built around survival. We've talked about survival a lot. When you're in survival mode, it really hinders your ability to thrive because all you're thinking about is today, which again is balanced by that intention, right? And so what's your intent? And then what's survival? Is figuring out what is true survival and what is intent.
The funny thing is brought up that thing, what am I doing? My scrolling or learning type of thing. And yeah, there's a lot of just right now it's hockey season. I'm watching a lot of hockey games. There's just whatever, but it's mindless entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's fun and scrolling at the same time. But it's irritating. It's got to the point that it's irritating because I know that I'm wasting time. And so I got to a point last night. We're bringing on 2 new team members over the next couple months, and I have to kind of get back into, even though I'm still in the mentor mode with David, I have to get back. I have to kind of rekindle that mindset of mentorship and leadership and start taking it to the next level, because there are expectations of them joining the team, and there's expectations of me having them join the team. But I started doing, which which I haven't done for a while, is I pulled out my notes on my phone and I started making notes. Okay, these are going to be topics that we're going to address. These are some of the ways that, what we've failed on the past of the business. The point I'm making is I could have spent more time of really not only, taking a couple of seconds and putting down notes of enhancing, like, okay, why do you want to do this? How are you going to play this out? So on and so forth. And Chrissy asked me today, I stayed away from the weights today and went on a walk. She goes, how was your walk? And I go, it was really good. And it really, this walk, and it's been a while since, a long time since it's really hit me, but it really reminded me of the walks that you and I took when we were on the phone together. 75 hard, and getting back into, which for whatever reason, I don't know why, but it's just getting back into listening to Greg Rochelle and Ed Milet and really, capturing a couple of golden nuggets and really getting back into that mindset of, how are we going to get these guys better than you, so on and so forth. But is being intentional with my time and just not out there floating around, just doing whatever. So that was, a lot of things got triggered in that conversation with Ken yesterday. And we've talked about this in the past. I don't want to stem away from this. I'm just kind of sharing some stuff with you guys, but Vail must have come over somewhere. I can't pinpoint the time. I've been thinking about that for the past 24 hours, that they've taken it for granted for the progression that we've taken. Have I progressed a lot? Yeah, I've still progressed a lot, but I could have been better. And that's why when you came up with this topic about time, I can be a lot better with my time. I'm finding myself, I'm actually starting to get irritable because I know I'm wasting time. I should be doing more reading. I should be out. There's no reason why I can't take a walk at the end of the night. I make excuses, and it's starting to become irritating to me. Doesn't matter for anybody else, but I'm like, I'm wasting time. I'm sitting here doing nothing. I go walk for 30 minutes and I could accomplish a lot more. So that's why I love like this. And are you being intentional with your time? Are you being dedicated to your time?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, is so many different words. This is how to build other leaders in a leadership podcast, kind of get that imposter syndrome when you're not doing that stuff.
Well, we've talked about this and said this in many different ways over the last 152 episodes, but I'm going to put this into a very succinct statement. And this might hit home with you or our listeners, watchers. Your environment may explain you, but it cannot permanently excuse you. Ownership matters, guys. Own your stuff. Evaluate what you're doing. Is it moving the needle? So I actually schedule downtime every day. Downtime's important. I'm not one of these Instagram bros that say, just run hard, get up early.
Yeah.
Do all the things. Go until you just pass out at night and then get up and do it all over again. I intentionally schedule 7 hours of sleep. I intentionally schedule downtime so my body can wind down, my heart rate can drop. We intentionally put our house at a temperature that will help us to wind down. So you need to get your body to drop temperature and put your house at 65 degrees. So that way your body and your mind start intentionally shutting down and getting to the point where you can actually go to sleep. Most people, when I talk to them and when I start coaching them, they're doing very little intentionally. They're doing a lot in passing. And so this wealthy time mindset, people that have wealthy time mindset understand that time is more valuable than money. Typically we try to delegate low value tasks. We hire specialists. I am bad at this. We've talked about this. I actually hired somebody to do some plumbing for me that I could have done because I did the math on it. They're going to charge me $700 or $800 to do this plumbing. It would have cost me literally double that to go do it myself.
Because of your time.
Because of my time.
Yeah.
And so, again, we talked about this. I'm building systems now. For my rentals, I'm building a system and a network of people that can help me to facilitate these instead of doing it all myself. I'm investing money into assets that create freedom. If an asset pays you, but it takes your time, is it really an asset? Right. You must evaluate and inspect what you expect.
Boy, that is so good, bro. Because first of all, going back to, getting, scheduling downtime, scheduling sleep. A lot of us, we see these funny memes and stuff like that, but it's so true. Downtime, like, okay, I'm going to unwind, so I'm going to get onto social media. I think a lot of us are guilty for that. And we lay in bed and scroll through social media, right? Instead of really just like maybe, which I trained 75 hard, bro. God, there's just so much of that comes back right now. And you really understand it. It's so funny after a couple of years later, you realize how critical that program is just to make things so much easier in life, even though it's hard. It's 75 hard, but it makes it easier in the long. But going into a meditation, like when you're laying in bed instead of scrolling, there's a great app called Headspace, and a bunch of different things that you can kind of just meditate and help you ease your mind at the end of the night, and how much that helps your sleep. So typically the way I would end on 75 hard, a day of 75 hard, would be read 10 pages and then 30, basically I would just put in 30 minutes of meditation on Headspace and let that play. And how much better I slept, how much rejuvenated I was better, but I utilized it. And then on the other side of that, scrolling through Instagram, I know if I spend too much time there or do it right before to bed, super restless sleep, horrible dreams.
So my daughter did a science fair. So they have a science fair coming up next week. She did a science fair project on what you listen to before you go to bed.
Yeah.
So she did it on listening to all genres of music, and now has data to reflect on what her sleep was when she listened to a certain genre of music.
Yeah.
Very important.
She listen to Dawkins before she goes to bed.
What's that?
Dawkins.
No. She actually tried that.
Did she really?
And then, yeah. So she did a bunch of different genres and has all the data, and it's cool to watch her put this together. She's putting it together on a board. I'll send you a picture of it when she's done with it this weekend. But really, guys, we're talking about this because it's about multiplication of your efforts. It's not always about working harder. It's about working smarter. How do you create leverage? How do you figure out how to make money when you're sleeping? Because really the goal isn't about making money. The goal is buying back your life. It's buying back time, which is your life.
Not being stressed out, not running around completely.
High cortisol levels affect your sleep, affect your health, affect your kidney function, affect everything, right?
Affect your relationships, your communication.
100%.
Your presence. I mean, it's just, God, this is just so good, dude. Again, if you guys haven't done 75 hard and you're watching the show,
it forces you to create intention.
Just do it.
Yeah.
It's not, there's times it sucks. It sucks, but it's so good, especially if you can do the whole Live Hard program. There's so many different things in there. That's why I said is yesterday's conversation, the last couple of days, and just certain aspects of there. There's a part of me that wants to get back into 75 hard, and there's a part of me that fights it. But what Brent's brought in when Brent brought up this subject, I think that's a bad time. I'm trying to cram so much into one day, and I've gotten this intentional word in my intentional presence keeps popping up in my brain. I'm not being fully engaged in everything that I'm doing, but I'm getting things done. And that, it's like, well, you're getting things done, but you're doing it the right way.
Right.
And that's the hard part. You can say, I did this, and this, and I feel great because I just crushed today. Did you really?
I checked a bunch of stuff off my list, but really, was your list effective? Was it intentional? Did it make a damn difference to you, to others, and to your community? Likely not, because you're just a list checker.
Then it makes you mad when you don't get things done, right?
Well, yeah, because my wife asked me yesterday on the way home. She says, "How was your day?" because I asked her how her day was. She said it was really good. I affected a bunch of people. I made a difference. How was your day? And I said, well, I always feel like I never got enough done. But the list of things that I got done makes me feel like the day was valuable. And
Are
go ahead.
You still doing 5 critical tasks? Or have you expanded your list because your bandwidth you've coached yourself to have a larger bandwidth?
So I do 5 critical tasks for each business.
Okay.
And I do 5 critical tasks for my personal life.
Okay.
So each segment has its own power list.
Okay.
So I may get 25 things done that day, but it's 5 things per segment.
Wow.
And I also do a non-negotiables list, period, for my whole day across all segments.
Someone comes to you and business coach, personal coach. Yeah, Brent, that sounds awesome. And it's just so, rigid. It's so calculated. I can't live that life. How do you help them get over that? And obviously, that's an escape word. I can't live that life. That's just an easy way out, saying I just don't want to do it. But
then I may not be a good fit for you unless you're ready to do the work, right? Because success is boring. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this in several other podcasts. It's repetition, it's structure, it's consistency, it's sacrifice. If you're not willing to do those 4 things, then I don't know who's going to help you.
There'll be people, we talked about this at Kappa, as your mentors, social media people, or I can't remember the subject right off the top of my head right now, but point of it, they'll tell you they can help you, and they'll take your $99.95 every month. It's like a gym membership, right? It's like, hey, sign up for a year and you'll get this price. They don't care if you show up. They just keep paying them money.
So I do care if you show up. And if you're not willing to do the work, then likely I'm not a good fit. I do accountability coaching. If you come in 6 weeks in a row and haven't done any of the things that we outline in a coaching session that you need to go do, I then ask you how much you're paying me and what the ROI is. If there's no ROI and you're not doing what you need to do to move the needle for you, I'm out.
Yeah. Huh.
So on that note, the problem is that most people love the idea of success, but they're not willing to keep promises to themselves, do boring things repeatedly, embrace discomfort, and stay consistent longer than it takes.
We have given so many topics over the last half hour and so many golden nuggets over the last half hour. And should you try to do everything at once, or should you segment it? Maybe, do something for 14 to 21 days is typically the one where it develops a habit, and then add another one, and then add another one, and then add another one.
Follow the power list.
Yeah.
That's why I said 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Within 6 weeks, if you can't show up to our meetings on time, that's the first commitment. It's kind of like writing your name on the top of the test. If you can't figure out how to write your name and just go into the test, you're not following the directions. You're not helping yourself. And then you fall into this victim mindset, right? And in their business and their personal life and in all aspects, including coaching, they're blaming the economy. They're blaming their parents. They're blaming politics. They're blaming their boss. They're blaming luck. I try to coach based upon an ownership mindset. What can you control? How can you adapt? What skill can you learn? And what sacrifice do you need to make to get to your goals? If you're not willing to go down that road, coaching isn't for you. Success isn't for you.
Yeah, I think that the last part that you said is success is not for you. If you're not willing to learn, or if someone's giving you advice, you're like, yeah, that's just not in my wheelhouse. And then you ask them, well, what is in your wheelhouse? And then they give you an answer like, well, how is that going to benefit you? Because I've never heard that before. And if they can't come up with an answer, that's, again, it goes back to that. It's the escape hatch, right? I don't want to sacrifice anything.
Well, it goes back to what you were talking about before when you answered the question. Comfort quietly destroys your potential.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some examples, and you can say yes, no.
Okay.
Sleeping in.
Love it, but hate it.
right? Avoiding hard conversations.
Better at it now. Actually enjoy it now.
Okay. Procrastination.
Horrible at it.
Distraction.
A lot.
Staying where it's safe.
Better, but still working on it.
This goes back to what you were saying, right? You were trying to use intention as an excuse to get out of dinner so you could feel comfortable going to your hockey game.
That's
right?
valid. That's valid.
And I'm not holding you accountable. I'm just saying that you brought this up, and so this is a perfect example.
No, dude, I think that's awesome because a lot of people we will find excuses to get out of situations that we really don't want to be in. And like, this is an excuse, by the way, using this stuff is like, I give so much of my time to so many other people. It's a profession I picked. I absolutely freaking love it.
You're just done peopling.
I'm not complaining. I get up every morning. I'm like, okay, what are we going to knock out today? Let's go. And there's sometimes I'm MF in the day or, burning down the bridge, whatever. But I love, love, love what I do. But there's a certain point, as you said, I'm just done peopling at the end of the day, especially if you're handling dumb people, then I'm really done. And it just gets to the point like, yes, the hockey game is my escape. I really don't have to talk to people too much. I can kind of let my brain catch up for a little bit. I'm really kind of still thinking about business. I'm watching the hockey game, watching the players of how they're working together and how, all this practice is leading them up to this spot and how, when the chips are down, how are they going to come out of it? So there's a lot of analogies that I'll pull from certain things, but it is a little bit of an escape for me on that part. So,
yeah. And you have to intentionally plan escape hatches in your life, guys. I'm not saying that you can't escape. Intentionally plan downtime, intentionally plan escape hatches. You must be able to stop, take it all in, evaluate it, process it, sleep on it, meditate on it, whatever you're doing, you must do that.
Yeah, I did that. There's the other thing that just happened last week, actually, with a good friend, really good friend. But Chrissy and I were on a 12-day, I'll call it a bender, but not with alcohol, but a 12-day bender of just going out and seeing friends before they leave, because we're in a seasonal community. So it was dinner every night, or it was golf, or, with friends just before they go and all this time. Grateful for the opportunity. It was awesome. Really, peeled back the onion more on relationships, really embedded in those times of the test. But I came home one night and we had nothing on the calendar. And she comes home and goes, so-and-so just called, wants to go meet us out for, a drink and kind of go sit by the fire. We have this fire pit at our club that looks back at them. I'll have to send you a picture, dude. It is phenomenal. It's breathtaking. And I'm like, I got nothing left in the tank. Yeah. She goes, yeah, but it's so-and-so. It's just so-and-so. And I said, yeah, it's so-and-so. But then there's other people are going to kind of be up there, and that's going to start a conversation. I go, I just have nothing left at this point in time. I'm tired, and I don't want to fake it that I'm really into the stuff where I want to sit here and I need to decompress. And thank God it was one of my friends that, he totally understood, and he's still in business and all these different things. But you said the best is you have to have an escape hatch as much as you want to pack in, to not keep pushing, because your intentionals, your purpose, your presence will be so incredibly effective. You have to judge that. Brent has a different bandwidth than I do by a lot, but his escape hatch is Friday night through Sunday. That's your time. You won't answer my text unless it's super important. And I've been a good friend of yours for 30 years, but your escape hatch is your family, your farm, and investing into the kids the time that you didn't have during the week, even though you still have that night, but it's full on that. Unless Brent's doing you a favor and doing something for you over the weekend, do not expect that you're going to hear back from him at all.
Well, and we parent, right? So yes, I go work at a rental or work on the ranch, but I'm working with Lincoln.
Right.
I'm helping Emma with her project or what have you. I intentionally schedule time with both of them, and I intentionally schedule time with my wife, even if it's for 20 minutes. It's very, very important to touch in with people to make sure they feel validated, valued, and all those things. But I got a couple key points before we wrap up. Most people aren't destroyed by a single catastrophe. They're destroyed slowly by comfort. Are you addicted to ease? The easy button? We've had an easy button discussion. Are your phones stealing your ambition? And has convenience weakened your resilience? Those are some key questions to ask yourself. I would tell you, when you said that you were going through your notes on your phone, shift gears and intentionally grab your laptop and go through your notes on your laptop. Because psychologically, it puts you more into a business mindset instead of your phone. Your phone's an easy button because then you go from your notes to scrolling, notes to your scrolling, right? And things like that. So
that's a great point.
I also want to go down this road just to really wrap this up and bring this home. Some wealthy people are broke spiritually. How many of those do you know?
5.
Some financially struggling people are rich in character. How many of those do you know? The definition of true wealth, guys, is time freedom, peace, health, faith, a strong marriage, purpose, meaningful relationships, and the utmost definition of real wealth is integrity. Because a man with money with no peace is still poor. We had a whole podcast about that gentleman that I was telling you about that was a billionaire that didn't have a family and hired a coach. He was wealthy in money, but had nothing to show for it in peace, health, faith, strong marriage, purpose, meaningful relationships. And he might have had integrity. I'm not here to judge the guy, but he was clearly seeking something.
Yeah. And everything that Brent read, do not, I know this is a totally different subject, but I don't want that to be lost into having this balanced life, because maybe you say something different on this. I always feel that it's never truly in balance, but keep working on all those things to go ahead and really, again, what we were talking about today is create more time, be intentional with your time, be purposeful with your time, be present with your time, but work on those things. And I think the biggest thing that I hope that everyone takes away here is obviously watch this podcast, share it with other people, because I think a lot of us are fighting that right now. We are in a very, what do I want to see? Instantaneous society right now. We want something to done right now.
7 seconds.
7 seconds, right? It's going to take time. We're talking like if we put out a video and we get 20 seconds of watch time, that is like epic on analytics, right? If you can capture somebody's attention. All my Instagram posts, we have anywhere from 700 to 1,200 views on an Instagram post that we do for our business. And I watch those analytics, and about 10 seconds, actually you're close, about 7 seconds, you're going to see that scale just go whoop,
yep,
and drop all the way down. So how you capture your attention? First of all, it's not, am I putting out good information? Is Brent putting out good information? Yes. But we've trained our brains just to kind of shut off after 7 seconds. We've got to retrain our brains to be intentional with our time. What are we trying to get out of this? What are you going to make today of? So find those 5 critical tasks. It's super simple. If you want to go ahead, Andy Frisella has a great book, called The Power List. Read the book. Watch this podcast over again. Brent gave a ton of great topics of how to fix some different things, because I just really know that a lot of us are struggling with not having enough time, or procrastinating with our time, or not procrastinating and utilizing the same thing. I just think we could have a better life. I learned a lot today. I'm going to go back all the stuff that I learned in the past. I'm going to go relearn again. But I have to help our newer agents that are coming on board the next couple of months, how to not let them go down the path that I've done, alleviate to make this business fun and exciting and not a drain, to where I just can't handle this anymore, but also be efficient. So I love that you came up with this topic, dude. It was so good. Thank you for triggering my brain.
Yeah.
So any final words for you?
Yeah, guys, the clock keeps moving whether you grow or not. The question is, who are you becoming with your 24 hours? What difference are you making with the 24 hours that God gave you? Think about that, apply that, and go make a damn difference.
That's what we got for you today. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much. If you haven't done yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, either YouTube, Spotify, whatever you're watching or listening to. Stay tuned because we come out every week. We haven't missed an episode in 153 weeks. So we think that we're pretty freaking good. Actually, I know that we're pretty good. So until we see each other next week, stay safe. And most of all, God bless, guys. Take care.